Hi, this is Philip McKernan. I'm currently in New Zealand, up north of Auckland, and I'm sitting next to a gentleman called Craig Chandler from Australia. And just taking the opportunity to ask Craig a couple of questions about real estate investing, which is his core interest, if you want to call it that, not just in his domestic market in Australia, but in different parts of the world. But also life in general, because it's not all about making money through real estate. So, Craig, share a bit to the watchers or the listeners of Philip McKernan TV a little bit about maybe anything you want to add, anything about real estate investing, anything about life in general, any kind of tips, any mistakes, any regrets, anything you want to share with us.
Well, I'm pretty passionate about real estate actually, Phil, as you know, and what I love about real estate is I find that it's fairly passive. I can invest my money and it keeps growing. It also cash flows. It's not like a lot of other investments where you have to monitor it on a day-by-day basis. As you know, we've been over here for the last 7 days. You probably haven't seen me use my phone too much.
But you're into like big, massive office building, commercial stuff downtown that doesn't require you to be very labour and hands-on.
No, that's one of the big myths actually of what I do. I'm in blue-collar residential real estate in desirable areas, which usually means coastal. But we have the thing in Australia called the sea change, which I'm sure you do in your countries as well, definitely in this country, New Zealand. But we also have a thing called the tree change, so I tend to invest in those type of markets where people will want to live for a reason. And I invest in properties that yield. But getting back to your point of the big fancy office towers, no, I don't go near them. For me, I'm more inclined to have a niche that's not affected so much by the economy and the current things that are happening around the world. It's been a tremendous niche to be in.
Well, Craig is going to be at an event that I'm going to be speaking at in July down in Jacksonville. We're very honoured to have him. He's a great speaker, and one of the things he mentioned the other night was about big is not always beautiful, and that if you've got a niche, if it's single family homes and blue collar areas like Craig has done extremely well in, why deviate from that? Why move away from that? Why try and move into multifamily? Why try to transition to commercial? Sometimes it's an illusion, sometimes it's our ego, but you mentioned that the other night and that really hit me hard, that to focus on your niche and continue to focus on it.
Yeah, well, if a thing's working, I don't see any reason to change it. Having said that, you can still evolve into other things if you desire, but I mean, I will still follow the fundamentals, and some of my properties are on larger tracts of land that eventually may become a subdivision, or there'll be a different type of building put on there which would add a lot of value to it, and I would still be looking to retain those properties and collect rent off them at this point in time. But as far as being a developer and going out and laying down a lot of money for a big lot of land and then having to develop it, I think, to me, I perceive that as hard work and risky. Now, that's not to say that it's, a lot of people do it and make good money from it, but for me, I'm really just happy with this style of life. It's I have a pretty great lifestyle.
One lesson, biggest lesson you've learned in real estate?
Look, the biggest lesson is not to be in too much of a hurry. Don't overgear. I mean, the temptation was there during the previous boom to gear up and just keep going, and a lot of people did very well out of that. I am a fan of gearing. I think you need to gear, but not too high. If you can stay around that 50% mark and get good cash flow, and it's not a race. I mean, with my niche, you're not going to get rich quick, but you will get wealthy in a 10-year period, pretty much guaranteed.
Would you come back and do a webinar with me someday and out to the listeners and the Real Estate 49 people?
Have a good day. Absolutely, yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Fantastic. Well, listen, stay tuned. I'm going to ask Craig to come back. I mean, Craig is sharing some kind of top line stuff right now. He's got a lot of knowledge buried down there, and hopefully, if he's okay with that, I'd like to extract some of that and share with you guys. Thanks very much. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks a lot, Phil.